And out by TSM, and a swift lock-in on Viego as the first pick here for Xerxe.
Yeah, so Viego getting grabbed up very early. Interesting to see like Jinx not being grabbed up, but a lot of people are pretty happy to just trade marksman, it feels like these days, with the Jinx, with the Xerxe. A lot of these high priority picks that were just getting perm banned out previously are now just being traded back and forth or being taken off of that ban list. This time around, obviously, Xerxe is banned out.
Yeah.
Huni hovering the Rumble, not going to lock it in just yet. But it is going to be a lock on that Ryze. So we are assuming this is going to be takeovers in the mid lane. Tank Ryze is incredibly popular. I have seen a little bit of AP Ryze being mixed in recently, but it has been almost exclusively tank Ryze still, and does allow you to play through those side lanes very well, skirmishes well, and especially at the pro level, the ultimate for that kind of group movement is very, very powerful to reposition flankers to the back line, to be able to make map movements to look for ganks or maybe move towards an objective. Can be really strong with Jinx plus Ryze. It kind of feels like a lot of your scaling is already secured here in the first two picks for TSM.
Absolutely. You will not be concerned about the game if it needs to go long, but now I'm curious what Immortals will pick as their own AD carry, because as you pointed out, yeah, they went for Viego super early. They were like, no, we don't care about Jinx, but having banned Xerxe themselves, I'm curious what the plan is here, because obviously you would expect the enemy team to at least have a significant chance to take Jinx in their first round if you're not going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some of the options like Caitlyn that has obviously been nerfed, but you could go for something like a Caitlyn if you did want. There's really aggressive options, things like Samira, as well as the Draven that have been getting buffed. I think AShe is actually really strong as more of a kind of supportive utility style marksman. It's getting a fair bit of play in solo queue. That's going to get locked in. First AShe, I feel like we've seen this split. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I feel pretty confident saying it. Shield Bow, Wit's End is the build I have seen most into just like Hurricane or whatever kind of fits the game.
Yeah.
So it is kind of this pseudo-tanky on-hit build. You have a lot of priority for your jungler just with the vision that you get, right? Utilizing Hawkshot early on, tracking the enemy jungle, especially when you're going up against something like the Jarvan as they are. Early game ganking is so important to this champion. So if you can track him with the Hawkshot, really deny some of the opportunities for Spica to find these early game plays, you can kind of cut the legs out from under him a lot on that early game.
And it's such a pain in the butt as a jungler playing against it, because it's not like you can't just clear your camps, but you see that stupid bird fly above you and everything's all sparkles and
you get caught by the
all right, they know I'm here.
Yeah.
It's so annoying to deal with, and you're absolutely right. It slows things down. It gives you information, which is not one of the things that are tracked on the scoreboard at the top like gold and kills, but is just as important.
Yeah, absolutely. It is pretty interesting, and you know, there's still a lot of control mazes getting banned out here. PoE being paid that respect. I don't think he's had the best year. You know, he has fallen off a lot of people's radar for the first time, I feel like, since he's been in NA as one of the top mid laners, right? You know, everyone had looked at PoE for so many years. Even when he was on poor teams, it was like, yeah, the team might not be that good, but they got PoE. Like, you think back to, like, you know, playing on some of these old teams, like, you know, even on like Optic and things like that, you know, where he was still having kind of some of these incredible individual performances. He just hasn't been able to kind of bring out that level here this time around. And getting targeted in the bans, Orianna still available. That has been kind of his go-to in a lot of these games. They are going to ban out the Huni Rumble, so TSM saving that for 5th pick. We'll see what Huni is going to be able to grab, but we know it won't be the Rumble.
Right, and the Alistar is locked in for Shenyi, so that means they will have both Alistar and Jarvan here for the engage, especially when teams are struggling, going back to what we talked about in the last Chance Select. Yes, if you're struggling, if you are having a rough time, usually there's some kind of problem with the communication, the coordination, or whatever. So no, I do not want to see you play a comp with a high floor for execution, but what is this? Cassiopeia locked in for Immortal.
What boots do you think she's going to buy?
Oh, that's a good question. I hope she doesn't forget to buy them. That would be tragedy, and I know that people would definitely have something to say about it.
People would be curious. I, too, am curious what boots Cassiopeia will go this game. But I gotta say, this is a good game for Miasma.
Yeah.
Ryze, relatively short range. Flag and drag from the Jarvan. You have the combo that's going to be denied potentially from the Alistar. If this gets locked in as well, that would be another champion that can really get shut down by the grounded from the Miasma. We have Graves top here for Revenge. That has been his bread and butter. I will say he has kind of moved away from it since the Hullbreaker nerfs 4-range champions. He hasn't just been playing it every single game anymore. You can still go like Shield Bow BT, but it is going to be the Irelia. So a lot of dash-reliant champions here. You know, 3 of them are going to get very heavily affected by this miasma. So if PoE can utilize that effectively, it is so powerful. Irelia thrives in these team fights by getting multi-man Rs, multi-man stunts, and then just dashing everywhere.
Yeah, she's the blade dancer.
Exactly. If you just hit one hook or one Nautilus auto for a root and you put the miasma on that, Irelia's not going anywhere.
Absolutely not. The ability to lock it down. Cassiopeia also being a traditional pick into Ryze matchups when that gets popular in the meta. I love the fact that they made this call. I love the fact they made this pick.
Oh no! That was not even fair.
What if respawning was refreshing? Here's to the round between rounds.
This game is rigged. This game is out to get me.
Now, I am so excited for this Cassiopeia. I think out of all 10 champions, this is the one that will have the most impact on the overall flow of the game. You were talking about how important this miasma is. Shut down Irelia, shut down Alistar's ability to engage, shut down all these different mobility options. And oh boy, it's Nautilus running down mid lane again.
Yep, this is a strat, and it works actually like a decent amount of time. We've seen it a couple times, even if it's just trade flash for flash, as they may find Spica, it might be just that.
Spica's gonna try to get out. Oh, he flashed in a straight line of the dredge line, still found him. Damage keeps going out.
Dead.
Spica's burning away. Slither, slither, the snake is here. First blood over to PowerOfEvil.
That is a tier start on Cassio. And if you've ever played against Cassio, giving her extra mana in the early lane is not a good thing.
That's not a feels good for TSM. Spica dies, loses his flash, so his ganking power is weaker.
That's brutal. And guess what? They didn't even have to use a single flash on Immortals to actually kill him. That's just a good invade.
That's an oof with 3 O's.
The ward spotted him, but that's one of those things where it's like you just get punished for a bit of a lazy recall, right? He has that pixel brush ward. Oh god, Arrow can just kind of run you down a little bit here. I mean, that's like 200 damage down. That's actually almost all his potions just gone.
And he's not stopping. That was so good.
That is actually so smart. Like, that looks silly, but he's just not leashing. He's not losing minions to do this. He can actually get down towards bot. I don't think he'll miss a single minion of XP. We'll see if he misses anything. But it looks like he's going to be there in plenty of time to actually get them with the volley even. So is he quite in range? Yeah, he's there. He's there. He misses 2 minions, but he gets XP on all 3.
He got XP.
And now Takeover, not only does he have to go against a tier start at level 1 plus a corrupting potion, he has to start it down like 400 health. So this is unlaneable for Ryze. It's absolutely unlaneable. And you would say, well, Jarvan's going to come bail you out. Well, Jarvan doesn't have his flash.
Yeah.
Because he got killed at level 1. So this is a disaster start here for TSM. And PoE, he's just going to invade.
It might get even worse here. Spica's trying to grab his red
smite.
Uses smite
and
before he has
flash.
the chance. Spica's just going to die again. What the hell am I watching? PowerOfEvil just slithers on over there, takes down the jungler, hand red over to Graves. Why not?
Thumbs up. Hit him with a thumbs up there. PoE saying, put some respect on my name. TSM was first with me. They're last without me. And here's why. And now Huni, he's going to have the nice benefit. Everyone loves this as a top laner. You're playing melee versus ranged, and the ranged champion gets a red buff. That's fun.
Yep, that's just about the most enjoyable experience you could possibly have as a top laner.
That's some gameplay up there.
Definitely not related to global averages of broken monitors or anything. It's a great experience to have to play against red buff Graves at level 3. And PowerOfEvil just continues having this control.
What does Spica even do from here? Like, what is your game plan? You're warded out on your Krugs. He has to base probably on Krugs because Revenge is missing. So what's the plan? Like, where do you go? I guess he's just going to have to go cross-map now for Wolves. He's not even going to try his Raptors here.
Xerxe's already waiting. Revenge is right next to him. Spectral Maul's going to find the stun. Okay, he gets away. He's now got 300 HP and enough mana to cast 2 more spells. And he's got to clear his bottom side jungle because his entire top side jungle belongs to Immortals.
Yeah.
This is about a 1,000 gold lead at 4 minutes.
This is one of the worst starts you could ever have as a Jarvan. You're playing early game champion. You die at level 1. You lose your flash. The enemy mid laner evades you solo at level 2 and just 1v1 kills you, and then donates your red buff to their ranged top laner.
It sounds like a comedy
It's like a parody.
Yeah. It's like, what is the worst possible start in a game of League of Legends? Well, here it is.
Yeah, what's your path after that? Well, after you die for the second time, you walk out, you go get Krugs, and then you almost die again in your base.
And then you open up the chat, you type "looking like next," and then you wait for 15. That's what my experience is like in these games.
Can we remake this?
It's tough, man. It's tough. TSM is in such a rough spot with this start. Spica is going to have a long, long way to go to get back from this one. Huni's trying to fight Revenge in the 1v1. Revenge is not shy at all, just putting the bullets in him here. Into the line comes down. Part 2 of that won't hit. Revenge has no ignite here in top lane. Both these guys running a TP, so there's no kill, but Huni is low.
I will say, though, Huni, for laning melee versus range, yes, I think it's a pretty decent matchup, but the early levels should still go to Graves. He's up farm, hasn't used his TP, and he has way more farm to pick up. If he gets all this farm, like, he's actually significantly ahead of Revenge, even though he had to deal with that red buff. So we'll see how much we can get it picked up. Revenge is not based yet, so yeah, Revenge has got to get out of there. He doesn't want to try to die and donate any more gold, but pretty good job from Huni. Like, considering you had to lane against that red buff Graves,
yeah,
you're up a couple CS, you're laughing. That's great.
Props to Huni for that one. TSM now seeing Immortals, starting up the Drake. They really want to fight for this.
Spica's coming. So, yeah, I think they're going to try to look for something, but PowerOfEvil moving.
Oh, Shenyi's ready to come in and make the play. Xerxe is going to be forced out. Spica comes down. Drake's going to be secured. TSM take the objective, but what about the fight? Arrow's trying to join up. Immortals disengaging. Xerxe at 200 HP, and Arrow's here to provide the CC. PowerOfEvil flashing over the wall, but he doesn't have much mana to work with. They'll still get a killing spree. All 3 kills in the game as Destiny hits a very nice dredge line. Tactical gets pulled back, but it's Takeover who pays the price. PowerOfEvil's getting more mana from the kills. They'll lose Xerxe, but it's only to a damn turret, Isaac.
That's all I got for you there. That's like,
woo, okay.
You know, we're all feeling it. Everyone has played this game, and you know exactly what game I'm talking about. You've got that game in your head.
We've all been there. Anybody that's been playing League of Legends for any amount of time has played this game.
At 6 minutes in, and you just got dove past your tier 2s, right? You know, it's like, it might not be ideal. But
they got the dragon.
TSM, you know, they did get the dragon. Yeah. They were looking for it. Spica didn't even have smite, I think. So it shows that he had it here, but I'm pretty sure in live he didn't actually have it. So the smite was used there to heal from Xerxe. It's actually picked up the dragon here. Oh, it was smite plus an auto there from Jinx. So they do grab it. And it looks like, hey, it might be a decent spot, but Spica going back in as Arrow arrives. There's not a lot of flashes here, and just the constant slows from that Ashe, slowing him down with the volley, being able to chase you down with approach velocity early on in the game is actually really powerful for these chase down situations. It allows him to stay in range. PowerOfEvil just ghosting in there. He had the flash as well, crossing through the towers, getting more kills. Insult to injury is to execute. Like, they get the XP, but they don't get the gold. Your only hope in this game, it feels like, is Huni has got to start solo killing Revenge, because everything else feels pretty rough. I mean, I will say, Tactical has a monster CS lead, so that's kind of what's keeping the gold at least closer. I'm not even sure what went so bad because we weren't watching bot lane to actually get him this big of a CS advantage, because that is kind of like an abnormal CS discrepancy. Yeah, Ashe is a good laner, so to be down 20 plus CS this early on, and he's going to face check Spica, who has ulti. He does have his flash to respond.
Okay, there's the flash right there. Arrow was waiting to see the engage from either Shenyi or Spica. Did not want to flash without getting that commit first, so then he flashes away. No Ashe with flash is a target that TSM could try to exploit here when Spica has a chance to come back.
So, positives.
Yes.
PowerOfEvil may have his Everfrost, but Takeover has something that PowerOfEvil will never have.
A boot.
Exactly. You're with me.
You gotta hold it in
He's
front
got
of
feet.
Yes.
Where are your feet
have
at,
to say,
Cassio?
look at what you'll never have, Cassiopeia.
He can dance around. You know, he can do some little tippy taps and stuff.
Yes. Although Cassiopeia does have really cool tail physics. Ever since they made it so the tail actually slithers.
Now with 100% more slither action.
Yes. Buy now. Cassiopeia stocks are on the up and up. Meanwhile, top side, Huni, 73 versus 67, so it's still pretty even. Oh boy. But now, let's see if Shenyi can help him out. All right, so Revenge.
Does he have the glowing eyes? He doesn't.
No,
so it's a good cow.
Is that how we... So only the evil glowing eyeballs can make you truly evil.
Yeah.
Okay. So even if Shenyi gets the kill here, even if he sets himself up as
he's a warrior for good.
A saboteur. Okay, so that means Revenge is evil?
I guess so. It's just how it is.
But
I don't make the rules here,
where Graves is like a hero or something? I didn't actually play that event because I thought it had involved a lot of reading. And
it did involve a lot of reading.
So I didn't read it.
I played that event, but I did a lot of clicking to the next.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yeah. You were just like dialogue, but.
Yeah.
That's okay, dude. There's so many games I've played in my life that I literally don't even know what they're about. And
Me too.
It's fantastic.
It's like, who's your favorite character? Don't know.
Probably the one that I played. Who was that? Don't know. Never read the name. Can't read. It's just how you go sometimes in video games.
All right, PowerOfEvil going to be able to grab the blue buff here. Tier stacking up well. He's got the early Everfrost. That's going to make things even more difficult for all of these short-range champions on TSM because the Miasma, you can lock them in the Everfrost, layer that over top. Not really any way out. But, you know, the positives are that Huni is doing pretty well in this matchup, is that they do have a good CS advantage down on the bottom side. You are playing Cleanse, so you have some sort of an answer to the potential Ashe engage. But I do think that it's not a big deal that Arrow is down because he got a kill, he's got some assist gold. He's playing more of the facilitation role, and you have already all the damage you should need from PowerOfEvil.
Oh, close. And that's an Alistar without an ulti, so if that hit, very easy to kill Shenyi there, especially with PowerOfEvil hanging around nearby. Next Drake is about to spawn. Huni, nicely done from Revenge there, dashing it out of the way of that ulti.
Yep, well played. You got to pretty much hold your dash to react almost always in this matchup. If you ever dash in aggressively on the Irelia, you're going to get stunned or you're going to get ulted.
Oh, she's going to dunk you.
Yeah. So it's pretty much only allowed to be used reactive. There's the power of the Hawkshot, though. Immortals spot 3 on bot side. They're going to call down 4. They're saying, all right, you bring 3, we bring 4. They do not have the Ashe ulti, though, that we saw sail wide from earlier, so TSM are pretty safe to do this. The Ashe buffs are actually really nice. Like It's not necessarily the biggest deal, but the additional move speed on the long-range ultis is very noticeable as the Ashe player, especially for, I have found, like, when you're shooting them down a lane, like, if you come out of base and you're walking towards mid, and you go to, like, the tier 2 or whatever, and you fire it from there, it's actually pretty reasonable to hit it. It's a lot harder to react to as an enemy player if you don't see it coming early than it was before, because the move speed is actually very high.
And one thing I also want to mention about this Cassiopeia pick that we saw there as Immortals were able to grab their first Drake of the game, this champion shreds neutral objectives. They do not do well against high DPS magic damage. Most magic damage in League of Legends is very burst-oriented, right? It's the nature of mages. But since Cassiopeia doesn't follow those rules, Cassiopeia has incredible objective potential, and it's one of those things that I want to make sure we're just having in the back of our heads as we go further towards the mid-game, as we get closer to the point where, you know, Baron will be on the table here in 8 minutes or so, it's very easy to do these objectives much faster than you otherwise could when you have this champion.
I mean, if you have a blue buff and it's 20 minutes and you have one other person to tank for you, like, you can do Baron, right?
Yeah.
And it's, you don't even need to have a full team rush, which is one of the things that I think does make it scary. I feel the same way when I'm playing against Diana, like, especially on-hit Diana builds, like Nashers and that sort of stuff. Just, as you said, consistent damage, magic damage. The neutral objectives have way lower MR. That is why you can really crush through them. Unless you have something like Vayne, who's, he's AD, but you have true damage. So but the magic damage really is the key there. Xerxe, though, spotted moving up to the top side. TSM have an extra member here. They could look for a kill.
Revenge is going to get jumped on. He tries to dash himself out of the way, but now Immortals are trying to outplay it in the 2v3. Huni's grabbing the first kill, and Revenge is already down. Xerxe leads him back over to PowerOfEvil as an arrow finds its way up from downtown. Spica re-engages here with a Cataclysm. PowerOfEvil tries to get away. TSM's found 2. TSM's found 3, and they only lose 1.
That is huge! And the Irelia picking up a lot of those kills, including the 700 gold bounty off of PowerOfEvil. TSM, they needed to win on the top side. They got it. As Immortals thought they were setting up for the play, they have Xerxe in the brush, but TSM brought Spica plus Shenyi, and they committed their teleport from Takeover. They knew they had to make a play, and they had to have overwhelming force there to do it. They commit everything to this, and this is just great stuff out of TSM here, recognizing the situation, overload one side of the map, try to make something happen. So it's not just the 3v2, it's the TP already coming in from Ryze. He's saying, even if you roam, I'm going to be here too, and it's going to be a 4v3. Credit as well to Spica on the tail end of this play. You know, Xerxe is flashing out. PowerOfEvil arrives, and this is where we're saying, all right, they could actually still win this. PowerOfEvil could fight his way out. He ults in, he backwards turns there to actually avoid the stun. Then, not only is that a flag and drag flash, he flag and drags, waits, delays it, knocks up Xerxe, then redirects the knockup with the flash into the Cassio. That is the next level mechanics on J4. You've seen a lot of people do the flag and drag flash, but the delay to get multiple knockups with it, that is a thing of beauty, and that is Spica playing at a really high level.
Spica delaying the animations like a boss in Elden Ring, just making them think twice before they try to dodge.
Don't you roll early.
Don't you do it. Immortals have lost their lead entirely, Azael. We were talking about how miserable of a start this was for TSM and for Spica specifically. But now, after that play in the top side, the game is dead even here at 15 minutes.
And the Irelia is a true side lane threat now. Like, you almost don't even want to walk back to lane as Graves. Like, you need help. It's going to be really, really scary in the 1v1 because he got the full Blade of the Rune King completed. He's got his new quiver and the tabbies on top. He is going to crush in that 1v1 here. They're looking for BOE.
PowerOfEvil gets jumped on, but I don't think that's where Spica wants to be necessarily. PowerOfEvil's going to force him to retreat immediately. Nearly walks into the arrow, but nearly won't matter. Spica gets away to safety. TSM, I like the fact that they're looking for stuff, but it's still PowerOfEvil who is individually the most powerful man on the map, and TSM must be respectful of how strong this mid laner is.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if we can pull up all the total golds for the players, but it's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, the gold is back to even, but if you don't have Huni, you're still massively behind, right?
Right.
You know, if you knock the top laners out of the equation and you're TSM and you're trying to 4v4 or 2v2 or whatever, well, PoE is 2K up on everyone else on your team pretty much, right? Like, he is still very, very strong, and they got to pay their respect.
Right, when you look at all these numbers, everything starts with a 5 or a 4. Just now, Tactical broke into the 6,000 total gold mark, but it's PowerOfEvil and it's Huni who are both at 7,500. Whichever one of them is around, that's the side that's going to win.
And Tactical has been farming at an incredible pace here. You know, at 16 minutes in, he's at 174 CS. So, you know, I said earlier it didn't feel like it mattered as much. It was concerning that he lost lane that hard on the bottom side for Arrow, but he's down 50 CS. And now that you're not way up in gold, like, that feels way more relevant here. So we'll see how Immortals can play it out. The game is even here. They are going to be able to grab this dragon, so they grab a second dragon for themselves. A Mountain Soul will do a lot of work against what is a pretty upfront kind of bursty style team from TSM who has a lot of dive. You know, we think about the Irelia, we think about the Jarvan, they're trying to zero someone out, burst them out.
Yep.
But TSM can play through sides, and they can maybe utilize this Jinx that is farming very, very well to try to get them some advantages later.
Shenyi and Huni are both set up to collapse.
They're going to go. They're going to fight.
As Immortals come into the river, and now TSM is ready to go. Arrow gets knocked up into the air, but now he disengages. Takeover is going to be found, and PowerOfEvil is looking to chase him down with the help of Destiny. Takeover can't get out. Spica down to 1/4 HP. He's trying to disengage away from the Herald. Takeover's got no way home. PowerOfEvil guarantees it. 1 kill already over. Immortals secure the Herald, and now they got to pick up the Eye. Huni's ready to try to turn it right back around with Shenyi right behind him. They're going to kill on revenge. Destiny gets out. Stasis keeps him alive. Huni's getting the work done as Spica goes in after Arrow, but Arrow's popping the heal to keep himself going. He'll take one with him as Tactical gets one back. It's a 2 for 2 across the fight.
Yeah, very scrappy fight there around the Herald. I feel like TSM, when Takeover got kind of isolated in that 1v1 against PowerOfEvil, he was just dead. They should have turned towards the Herald and tried to use their strong guy to take the Herald, right? If PowerOfEvil is fighting your mid laner, eliminate them both from the fight, turn the Irelia around, win the fight at the Herald hard, grab the Herald for yourselves. We can watch it one more time, and I'm going to kind of point out what I was talking about here. Takeover is going down, right? Like, he is just dead. Abandon this man here as he runs away to the other side. If Huni turns around now and goes up towards that Herald, that is a one fight. Bring these guys over here, take the Herald, allow Takeover to just die and say, all right, you did your job by keeping PowerOfEvil away from the rest of us. Because if they hard committed at that point, I think it could have been a much more advantageous fight. Still, they find a pretty good turn. They do get the first kill. They get the reset. They go in, they grab up that second kill in the long extended play here. But I think it could have been a lot more if they just abandoned ship on their mid laner early.
Well, TSM now have a 750 gold lead. These farm advantages in the side lanes, particularly the AD carry farm diff. I'm not going to stop hitting on it because ever since you brought it up, that difference has only ballooned more and more. So much advantage for TSM just in that, but Arrow's got a good stun here on the tactical. They won't be able to follow it up. Shenyi's ready to turn it around. Zap into the super mega death rocket, and Arrow nearly dies. He'll try to get away with under 50 HP remaining, call it 26, and Arrow barely walks out.
And that was close to him actually going down. Pee-wee, though, on the top side, they take down the tier 1, they get a charge on the tier 2, so that almost falls. So Immortals, feels funny to say after how the game started, but clawing their way back in the gold lead. They are down in gold, and now it's Pee-wee's job. Like, he's gotta carry this game.
Yeah.
You got all the benefits of these early shenanigans. Your team is losing. It's time to step up. His champion does work very well into what TSM has drafted. He is still incredibly strong, so they have the ability to win this game. But when a game like this starts to spin around and really kind of flip on its head, it's the losing team that gets an incredible injection of confidence, right? Like when you start to come back and you're like, oh my God, like
we can do this.
We are actually winning this game. Like we are actually in a good position. So Immortals have got to stay confident and recognize that even though they gave away their lead, they can still win from this spot.
So one thing I want to point out right now, PowerOfEvil, third item, Gargoyle Stoneplate. PowerOfEvil is known for strange builds.
Yeah, so this to me is saying, everyone's gonna dive me, this is gonna keep me alive, and basically I don't need the extra pure damage, right?
Yeah.
It does have a lot of defensive stats. The shield is very powerful, has some CDR on there. I'm not gonna say this is right or wrong, because honestly I haven't thought about it enough to have a strong opinion. I would normally...
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I would normally say, just go like tanky AP would be my call, which would say,
Embrace or something?
yeah, go Demonic Embrace, or even go like a Ryze. You could go Azonias if you're really worried about some particular burst. But to me, it would be Demonic Embrace or a Ryze. Not this, but this is the more tanky version for sure, and we'll see if it works out. Because I mean, Cassio just needs the mana, and you can pump out an incredible amount of damage, and you have your 2 mana items. And if they dive with like, you know, J4 and Irelia, and everyone dives the backline, try to kill him, and he pops Gargoyle and lives, like, he's going to kill you 2 AP items or 3 AP items.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be tracking here on whether or not this was worthwhile is there a situation where Cassiopeia survives a ton of burst? And when we look at the TSM health bars, how often are people going to walk away with slivers of HP remaining?
And can you just ignore the Cassio and kill her teammates because the person with the lead built tank?
Yeah.
Right? You know, that's always my concern as well, is like, when I'm the person on my team that has a monster lead, like a huge advantage, I feel pressure to get a lot done, right? And this kind of tanky build can allow you to do that, similar with tanky Ryze, right? Where it's like, oh, this keeps you safe, allows you to play aggressive. They're going to look for a dive here on Huni. We'll see if they can follow through on it.
They want to make sure that PowerOfEvil's not the one starting up tanking it. They want to allow him to maximize DPS, and he'll do just that. However, a 3-man play on bottom side from Immortals means a 4-man play on Baron from TSM. There's pings coming out. We'll see if they're able to do anything about this. PowerOfEvil is still down in the bottom lane, taking the tier 1 turret. And the Baron goes over to TSM. They'll take that one.
Absolutely. It will put Immortals, you know, with more kind of gold in their pockets off that play. They get the shutdown, they get the tower, they get the dragon, so they're moving to Soul Point here. That is kind of the edge that they get. But a big injection of stats, a big injection of gold as well for TSM taking the Baron. So we're going to have to track how much can they get done during this Baron power play, because Immortals, in just under 5 minutes, they could potentially grab Soul. And then, I mean, it's going to be so hard to burst them down. Like, if you're talking about trying to nuke someone down already through Gargoyle Stoneplate and Locket Shield, if you give them the Mountain Soul Shield as well,
it's tough.
It's going to be really hard.
Very, very tough stuff. PowerOfEvil, 6-1-2, only has missed a single kill participation in this game so far. Second item of the game completed for Revenge just now as he gets his Collector. So just trying to catch up, trying to be relevant, trying to make sure that he's ready to go here whenever one of these big fights does break out. 2 minutes of Baron. There are 2 minutes for TSM to take this Baron and get everything they possibly can before having to deal with that soul fight that you're talking about. That will be huge here 4 minutes from now. Shenyi's going to clear out a little bit of vision. Immortals are on the defensive. They know they have to weather this TSM Baron before anything else, and Tactical continues to build the gold. Immortals find plenty of damage onto Shenyi. They're going to force him back with that, and TSM has to back up.
I mean, Immortals just haven't been able to find any effective arrows, right? Like, Arrow is down 3 levels on Tactical now, plus the farm. That is so concerning how useless this Ashe may look. And he's hit a couple different arrows on Tactical, but it's never been in a position where someone's there to follow up. So yeah. Tactical doesn't even cleanse. Like, he just sits on it. They're going to look for Tactical now, though. Xerxe coming on the flank.
Tactical has already used his Gale Force. He's used his Flash. He's trying to get away, but Xerxe's on top of it. Shenyi falls. Tactical falls. TSM loses both bottom laners, and the Baron push stops here.
That's a big couple of picks there for Immortals, because TSM was starting to get a lot of gold in the side lanes on that play. Huni, though, on the hunt here. Will he spot Revenge? He will, but not going to be able to kind of chase further down as he doesn't have enough vision in the area. Expecting him probably just go like Death Dance third or something like that. We'll see where Huni exactly wants to go, but he's got to be a little bit careful against that red buff Graves, but in any sort of extended play, he's definitely going to win.
Yeah, you can see how easily confident Huni is here. Just going back into lane, instant heal back to full.
Oh, they're Ryze ulting on him.
And they're ready to dive Revenge. He wants to get away from the 1v3. The arrow coming in to stun up Huni. Is it going to keep him alive? The volley over the wall can't do the damage.
Oh, here comes Xerxe. He could look for a potential kill. He doesn't have his ulti, though.
There's no Heartbreaker. There's no Heartbreaker for Viego, so Spica's trying to turn it around here with a Cataclysm. Destiny joins up, but now he's got to be careful. Takeover's very powerful. PowerOfEvil's on the other end of the map. They do not have their ace in the hole. This is the Cassiopeia. This is the one that determines the fights. And with him not there, TSM picks up the kill and picks up the tier 2. The push is not done. They're saying if PowerOfEvil wants to stay in the top lane,
end the game
we're going to stay here in the bottom lane. TSM, they're just going to break into the base. Immortals, what are we doing, my friends? PowerOfEvil's trying to deal with Tactical. The Everfrost isn't going to find him. Miasma, yeah, it'll do a little bit of damage. PowerOfEvil taking 3 or 4 turret shots. TSM just walked into the base and took the inhib.
And that's a flash off of PowerOfEvil. That's his big teamfight tool there. He was trying to end the game through split push. He was saying, I'm going to catch Tactical, who had no cleanse, no flash. Good reaction there from Destiny, able to flash out of the way of that. But he looks for the flash ulti. Tactical just backsteps it, then he backsteps the Everfrost, then he backsteps on the Miasma, and then as soon as PowerOfEvil starts walking back through the tower, you step in the Miasma to make him pull tower aggro. So very well played there. They're now delaying the bases from TSM, seeing if they can get those split up. TSM has got to be careful here. A minute, though, until that dragon.
Okay, there's another arrow, but again,
it's got a lot
not enough coming out of it. Yeah, Shenyi's also still got his ultimate, so Alistar ultimate forced out here. Nautilus ulti's going to chase him. Okay, flash over the wall from Shenyi here. Yeah, huge. Huge to take that away from the Alistar before this Dragon Soul fight is going to happen.
And he won't have his ult back. It's a 94-second cooldown. He doesn't have a lot of CDR, so he's actually not going to have ult. So that's no flash, no ult, Alistar. So that means if you go in, it's a one-way trip.
WQ and you die.
Exactly.
That's
like,
it.
You got nothing. You are not tanky at that point. But TSM, I don't think that you're going to feel comfortable to just give this one up. Huni has his 3 items, plus he actually gets the Elixir of Iron there. I do think it's a smart call. The amount of lockdown that is on the other side, the tenacities can be very important because he went for tabbies. So having that additional tenacity on top of the legend tenacity that he has is going to make him really tough to pin down. But still, tenacity doesn't help you out with Miasma, and that's going to be the key ability. You got to watch how the Miasma is used. If PoE can get a really effective one, that can absolutely decide the fight, as they're trying to kind of pincer in here on TSM.
TSM, they're grouped up in bottom, and Immortals is ready to fight them. Huni is not grouped up with the rest of TSM. He'll be approaching from the other side, clearing out a ward on the bottom side of mid lane, making his way through the river now. Tier 2 turret is going to fall in the mid lane. Immortals lose that one to minions, so TSM not going to pick up any extra local gold from the take. Huni now positioned next to the blast cone and ready to go. However, the collapse is there. They found Shenyi. He can't survive. An arrow's going to be jumped on, but it's not going to matter. Huni at least picks up one, but Xerxe goes on a killing spree.
He's going to get another.
They can't
kill him.
Huni's still fighting. Double kill back over to Irelia. Will it be a triple kill over to Irelia? Yes, it will. TSM rips Immortals apart with a quadra kill for Huni.
They're going for the Windflowers. Huni is in the base here. Can they actually close it out? 20 seconds. I spoke too soon. I don't think they actually close it, but it's the quadra from the Irelia. Absolute monster fight there from Huni. That was incredible from TSM.
Huni with the 2 lifesteal items, jumping into the melee and taking control. Tactical providing the DPS, and Immortals falling to pieces after what had to be one of the most one-sided starts we have seen in a long time. TSM are poised to take this game.
This is just incredible. What a comeback from TSM. They come into this weekend dead last, 2 wins. They beat C9. This game starts and you're like, all right, you know, they're turning back into a pumpkin. And this kind of a turnaround here is massive. They're spending so many spells here on the Alistar. They kill off the Alistar, but look at Spica into the backline. Huni on the backstep there on PowerOfEvil. The Zonias is popped really early, gets a multi-man ulti, and he's just in onto Arrow. Arrow goes down. PowerOfEvil is pushed out here by Takeover. I think he thought that they had Huni, but if you do not burst down that Irelia, Conqueror fully stacked, lifesteal items abound, he is just gonna drain tank your team. It's a triple, it's a quadra. Huni DPs in, gets the inhib off the back of that, and then casually goes back, buys an entire GA.
Oh, man. Huni, 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 Huni.
Holo. It's been a while, man, but Huni is showing one of those incredible performances that he really made his name for. Being this aggressive player who can just take over a game. TSM needed him to do it. He was really the only one in the position to do so, and he has looked incredible, but they've got to be able to close this one out. They're pushing in 3 lanes. Mid lane inhibitor tower is down. 3rd inhibitor about to be cracked.
Now, we do need to remember that that bottom lane inhib is just about to respawn. There's about 10 seconds left on that one, so if Immortals can shoo them away somehow, they will at least not have to deal with the double super minions for very long. However, TSM is looking to just keep this party going all night long. They're still in the enemy base. They still got the Baron here for the next minute and 15. Stun up onto Huni. This is very important. That's a valuable target, but they aren't going to be able to find the damage. Huni stays alive. TSM still looking to go for the kill, still looking to find the ability to save Huni's life to the Death Dance, but Guardian Angel is gonna bring him back anyway. Xerxe's about to die, the Heartbreaker to try to get away, but Spica's gonna chase him down. Revenge for the very start of the game. The ace for nothing for TSM, and a 2-0 weekend.
What a weekend for TSM. You can hear the chants almost. TSM fans have absolutely got to be popping off. And what a turnaround for this team in the midst of so many problems, so much controversy surrounding TSM. For them to come into this weekend, take down C9, have an incredible comeback against Immortals is truly amazing. And off the back of what was such an amazing performance from Huni, and even Spica deserves so much credit. Like, there was so many incredible engages from Spica against this Cassio where it's really tough to pull off, and it would be so easy and almost like forgivable for you to just tilt out of this planet off of the early game.
Oh, I would have.
Like how bad that early game went for Spica, it is incredible that he had any effect on the game. And then for him to go and pull off plays, like I hope at the desk they have time to go back and rewatch that top lane play where
the
he
top
actually
lane play was
delays
that was the game
flash,
changer. Yeah.
Where he EQs through Xerxe and then redirects his flash onto PoE still to get double knock up there in a close fight, win them that fight, and then find so many great engages throughout the rest of the game, setting up for Huni, who was their strong member. I just am so impressed from TSM, and they really got to hold their heads high, even though they are still towards the bottom of the standings. This is something that you can build on for summer.
And I like the way you phrased it, towards the bottom of the standings, because TSM has now dragged Immortals into the pit with them. They're tied in the standings.
And they got the experience.
TSM is no longer in sole possession of last, and they have now eliminated Immortals from being eligible for playoffs. TSM has had an awesome weekend.
Banger game.
And while we ready up for our interview, we're heading over to the State Farm Analyst